You ever scroll Zillow or drive through a neighborhood and think to yourself, wait, why is that house still sitting? And then right down the street, boom, you see another house that's sold in like 3 or 4 days. Same price range, similar condition. Sometimes the one that sells isn't even better. So what's going on? Right now, homes aren't just selling or not selling. They're competing. Some of them are losing without even realizing. And if you understand why, you can either buy smarter and negotiate better deals or sell faster and for more than the comparable homes around you. I'm Reese, and I help people relocating to the greater Sacramento area figure out exactly where it is that they want to live based on their lifestyle, their budget, and their goals. So if you're thinking about making a move, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And if you want real strategy and not guesswork, reach out anytime. Now here's the part that most people aren't talking about, and it's a bit of a mystery. And whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's really important to understand this. Buyers do have leverage right now, but only when they know where to look and what to look for. Because the second a buyer decides that they want that home, you know what I'm talking about. Freshly updated, amazing layout, a pool, all the things. Now they're competing again. Multiple offers, less negotiating power, and more pressure. And that right there, that's exactly what we help our sellers create. Because on the flip side, when a home needs, let's say, a hug, well, buyers wait. There's no urgency. They slow down, they analyze, and they compare. Especially when that home is really close or near new construction or even just slightly dated. Those are the homes that sit back. If you know how to spot them, these are the homes that are actually getting the best deals right now. But not all of them are good deals. If you want some help kind of identifying which ones are the right ones to go after, I'll help you sort that out. And if you're on the selling side and you don't want to be one of those homes that just sits, reach out. I'll walk you through how we position our listings so that all the buyers compete instead of hesitate. Now here's where things get confusing for a lot of people, because technically we are still in a seller's market. There's a tried and true metric that we use called months of inventory. It's pretty simple. 0 to 3 months, that's a seller's market. 4 to 6 months, it's kind of equilibrium. And then beyond 6 months, so 7 months plus, that is a buyer's market. Right now, we are still sitting firmly in the seller's range. Let me show you what this actually looks like locally. In Rockland, we're at about 2.2 months of inventory, and homes are taking about 32 days to get into contract, and they're selling at about 99% of the list price. Folsom's even tighter. They're at 1.1 months of inventory, and they're pretty close at about 34 days to get into contract, 34 days to get a buyer, and they're also at 99% of list price, sale price at 99% of that original list price. Now Roseville, they're sitting at 1.7 months of inventory, and they're taking a little bit longer, like 44 days to get into contract. But they're still sitting at 99%, sale price at 99% of list price. Elk Grove, 2.2 months of inventory, 41 days to get into contract, and they're also at 99% of list price. Now let's go a little further out. Rancho Cordova is at 2.6 months. They're 60 days on market, and they're at 97%, sale price 97% of list price. Auburn and the Foothills are at 2.1 months of inventory, 70 days on market. They're also at 97%. Lincoln, they're at 2.4 months, 46 days on market, and up a little higher at 98% of list price. So yes, we are still in a seller's market, but homes are taking longer to sell. Why? Because buyers are sitting back, waiting, and watching. Largely in part because sellers are making some pretty big mistakes. So most homes right now selling about an average of 1 to 3% below the list price. But here's the part that people miss. That's just the average. And the sellers that understand what they're doing, they are not part of that average. They're selling faster and often above list. Most of our sellers are closing in under 30 days, and often it's less than 2 weeks. If you're even thinking about selling and you want to be in that category, meaning not the ones that are sitting, let me know. I'll walk you through exactly how we do that. So I know what you're thinking. Chris, if we're in a seller's market, why are some homes sitting while others seem to be like flying off the shelves? Well, it's a few things. A lot of buyers are a little shell-shocked from the frenzy in 2020, 2021, when we saw 40 to 45% increase in home values and prices. A great example that I will never forget. I had one buyer, we wrote 3 offers in one weekend, all ranging around $100,000 above list price. And each of those offers was like a $25,000 to $30,000 earnest money deposit that was non-refundable, meaning no contingencies whatsoever. Sounds like pretty strong offers, right? We didn't even get a single counter. When I followed up with all the listing agents, I had to know, they all had a similar story. We had written a really great offer, but they had 10 to 20 of them, just like it. And they ultimately went with one that was just a little bit better than ours. Ouch. And some buyers are actually sitting around on the fence waiting for rates to drop, which is actually hurting them in the long run. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why waiting for interest rates to drop can actually cost you $50, $75, $100,000 or more for the exact same house. So make sure you stick with it. The point is that it's still contributing to why homes are sitting a little longer. Something else that's causing big delays for some listings, and this is where a lot of people lose the game, but sellers are competing with builders. You got a resale home listed at $650 and a brand new home for sale at $670. Now on paper, you're actually cheaper, but in reality, you're losing, because the builder isn't selling on price. They're offering $15,000 to $25,000 in closing cost credits, interest rate buydowns that drop mortgage payments, maybe even some free upgrades, flooring and cabinets and finishes. So now the buyer walks into that new home and everything is brand new and untouched and modern. And sometimes better amenities and nicer community layouts. And that payment, the same or lower than your resale. So even if they're paying 20 or 30K more, it feels like a better deal. And that's another reason why some of these resale homes are sitting. Not because they're bad, they're just not positioned to compete. And if you're a seller and you want to know how to compete, just reach out. And if you want to know which builders are offering the best incentives and areas that actually fit your lifestyle and which ones to avoid, reach out. That changes weekly. Something else that's actually causing homes to sit is HOAs and Mello-Roos. Now this is where buyers today are getting really analytical. So like a $600 a month HOA fee, yeah, I'm not kidding. I've seen $300,000 condos with $600 a month in HOAs. I digress. So a $600 a month HOA fee, that's like adding $75,000 to the purchase price. Now let's say there's also $300 a month in Mello-Roos added to the tax bill. Well, that's like tacking another $37K right on top of that price. But here's the difference. That extra $112K doesn't build equity. It's just an extra $900 a month expense. And buyers feel that. So when they're comparing homes, you may look really competitive on price, but really expensive on what their monthly payments will be. And that's why some homes are struggling. But flip that around. If you're a buyer that's willing to consider those homes, well, that's where the deals are. Less competition, more leverage, and better negotiation. If you're looking at homes trying to figure out what makes the most sense financially, I can help you break that down so that you're not guessing. And if you're a seller trying to figure out how you can compete despite HOAs and or Mello-Roos, just reach out. Now I want to go back to what I teased earlier, and that's waiting for rates to drop. Some buyers right now are thinking, I'll just wait. But here's what most people don't understand. The best time to buy is actually when rates are higher. Because when those interest rates are higher, demand drops, prices stagnate, and the competition slows down. That's when you have leverage. That's when you can really negotiate. But when rates drop, everything reverses. Demand spikes, competition increases, and prices go up. So yes, you might have gotten a better interest rate, but you're paying more for the house, and sometimes way more. And had you just bought when interest rates were higher, you'd actually have a much lower payment. Let me show you how this plays out. I had these buyers back in 2018. They were looking in the 300 to 340K price. At that time, interest rates were around 4.75%. Well, they got cold feet and they waited. Then 2020 hits. And the home they had been renting, well, the landlord put it up for sale and now they have to buy. The same houses they were looking at, now $435. They paid $95,000 more for the exact same type of house in less than 2 years. Now here's where it really hits, so make sure to follow along with me. If they would have bought in 2018 at $340, their payment would have been about $1,773. Then they would have refinanced in 2021 at 3%, and I'm being conservative with that. That refinance drops the payment to $1,443. Instead though, they bought in 2020 at $435 and the payment was about $2,076. That's about $400 more per month, nearly $5,000 more per year. Same house. You don't wait to buy the rate. Buy the house and then you refinance later. You can change your interest rate, but you can't go back and change your purchase price. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see buyers make, and it's totally avoidable if you understand. Now sellers, you can't change everything. You can't put in a pool overnight, nor would you want to just to sell the property. And you can't change your location. But with proper positioning and strategy, you can sell your home quickly and for more than those comparable homes around you. Trick is knowing what to do, where to put your efforts and your money to make all the buyers compete for your home. If you want to avoid these big mistakes, I can help you. So when you see homes that are just sitting on the market, it's not because it's a buyer's market. And it's also not random. And it's not bad luck. It's competition, it's positioning, and it's strategy. And if you understand that, you win. Because right now, the difference between winning and sitting is knowing how to compete. So whether you're buying, want to know how to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there, or you're selling and just want to make sure that you're not the one sitting, just reach out. We'll map out a strategy specific to your situation so that you're not guessing in this market. All my contact info is down in the description. Ready to stop scrolling and start making moves? Let's make it happen. Also, comment below where you're moving from. I'm curious. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. See you on the next one. That's a wrap.